Video game remasters, a way to experience our favorite classics with a modern twist. Publishers seem to think so because they've released a ton of them recently. Some great, some not so great. Naturally, the Star Wars franchise has also seen its fair share of remasters, with the most recent being Bounty Hunter. Now, flying through the streets of Coruscant with its updated visuals and modern controls got me thinking about all those other prequel games that we grew up playing. Granted, not all of them were amazing, but there were still some great gems that I think deserve a new lease on life, which is why in this video I'm going to cover 4 classic prequel games that I think deserve a remaster. And when I say remaster, I'm not just talking about porting the same old game to new hardware with a slight uptick in resolution. No, these games should be getting all the bells and whistles like updated visuals, enhanced gameplay, and modern controls. And first up on the list is Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, and this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Technically, it's already been remastered for the Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. But apart from adding motion controls to the Switch, this is very much the original game, using the original textures and models, only now running at 1080p in widescreen. Star Wars Racer deserves a proper remaster. Imagine zooming around all of these amazing tracks from the original game inside a modern engine with updated environments and pod racer models. The footage you're seeing here is actually a fan-made concept put together by Rob and Julian using Unreal Engine 4, which is a perfect demonstration of why Racer needs a next-gen remaster. If you look at the comments below this video, everyone is saying that they would buy this game on day one. Okay, before we dive into the next entry on the list, I wanted to give a big shout out to this video's sponsor, World of Warships Legends. If you're into epic naval battles and strategic gameplay, this free-to-play console game is a must-try. World of Warships Legends lets you command historically accurate ships and take on your enemies in intense tactical warfare. Whether you're scouting or going full force with powerful ships, this game makes the most of your home console's power, delivering thrilling naval experiences right from your couch. And right now they're celebrating their 5th anniversary with tons of new content. Join in on the festive ancient Greece themed events like the treasure hunt and the crafting station. Plus, don't miss out on the Aegean Arrow campaign featuring divine commander guises like Athena, Poseidon, and Zeus. Hit the link in the description to join into the action today and get a special gift with the code shown on screen for in-game rewards. And if you're new to the game, there is a welcome pack for you, including the American Tier 3 Premium Battleship Arkansas, German T3 Cruiser Karlsruhe, 7 days of premium account, along with 10 red, white, and blue camouflages. Check out the link in the description to get started. Okay, back to the list, and next up we have Republic Commando, released in 2005 for the original Xbox and PC. In a time where most Star Wars games had you play as a Jedi or Sith, Republic Commando took a different approach. This tactical first-person shooter puts you in command of Delta Squad, an elite group of clone commandos sent on dangerous missions during the Clone Wars. In the 2 decades since its release, not only has Republic Commando become a cult classic, it's regarded as one of the best Star Wars games ever made, in big part due to its immersive gameplay. I mean, look, the very first thing you see is RC-1138 being born, followed by him growing up on Camino and then being shipped off to Geonosis. Other games would have been tempted to change the perspective and show some of these grand set pieces, but Republic Commando keeps you behind Boss's visor until the very end. And I think having a proper modern remaster would really enhance the immersion of this game. After all, who wouldn't want to see next generation Geonosis guts splattered all over your visor? Over the years, fans have put together some amazing concept videos to show what a remaster could look like. For example, like this one from YouTuber Woof Woof Wolf, who remade the intro. And here's one from Taylor W, which shows what the remastered gameplay could look like. Both of these do a great job at capturing the original game's atmosphere, which is another factor that made Republic Commando stand out. Once again, taking away the Jedi and having the game focus on the clones allowed for LucasArts to introduce players to the gritty, ground-level reality of warfare in the Star Wars universe, while the darker, more mature tone showcased a side to the galaxy far, far away that we haven't seen before. Who remembers fighting through the trenches of Geonosis, sneaking through the creepy corridors of the Prosecutor, and fighting alongside the Wookiees to push back the Separatist invasion of Kashyyyk? If done correctly, the remaster could utilize modern lighting and particle effects to really enhance Republic Commando's already brilliant atmosphere. Now, while Republic Commando's single player is great, the multiplayer was always a bit of a low point, which is something the remaster could finally fix. Yes, having online multiplayer with robust working servers would be great, but I think a co-op campaign is where the game could really shine. Republic Commando seems built for co-op, but for some reason it was never included. I'm guessing the developers just ran out of time. But including it in a modern remaster would breathe new life into the game, and kind of make it an instant sell for fans. Aspire, are you listening? Now, once again, while Republic Commando hasn't been properly remastered, it has been made available on a number of modern platforms. Unfortunately, this next entry on the list has never even been re-released. I'm talking about 2002's Star Wars Obi Wan for the original Xbox. Back in 1999, this game started life on the PC with an emphasis on mouse-based lightsaber controls. Eventually, the development was shifted exclusively to Microsoft's new console, the Xbox. However, the game retained its unique control scheme, now mapping the lightsaber combat onto the right analog stick. In theory, this was supposed to allow for precise attacks and a deeper combat experience, but I think most of us just ended up spamming the analog stick in every direction and hoping something would work. The other drawback was the lack of dynamic camera, which would usually be mapped onto the right analog stick. All this made the game a bit awkward to control, which was a shame because Obi-Wan had a pretty good arsenal of abilities like force push, bullet time, and saber throw. Plus, this is the only Star Wars game where you can cartwheel around instead of running. If this game was ever to get a remaster, the developers would need to start by reworking the controls. By all means, keep the classic controls for those who want to experience the original game, but also add a modernized version of the controls with a dynamic camera and a more traditional approach to the saber combat that maybe focuses more on button combos, but for the love of God, make sure to keep the hello there button.
Hello, hello, hello.
Now, Obi-Wan's campaign follows its titular character on his adventures before and during the events of Episode 1. The game features some key locations from the movie, along with some expanded universe content, and I think the level design and the environmental visuals were this game's biggest strength. The game starts with Obi-Wan making his way through the Coruscant underworld before transitioning up to the higher levels filled with floating platforms and skyscrapers. He trains in the Jedi Temple where the floors are so immaculately polished that they put the Gringotts goblins to shame. A big chunk of the game takes place in the city of Theed and in the Royal Palace, and the developers did a great job with the visuals and the design of these levels. You really do feel like you're exploring Naboo as you sneak through the city streets, fight your way through the palace, or ambush the Trade Federation forces in the dead of night. And I really think a remaster would be able to bring out the best of these environments. Just look at what Aspire's remaster did for the Coruscant levels in Bounty Hunter, which coincidentally came out the same year as this game. You wouldn't even need to change the textures, just add some upscaling along with some modern lighting and environmental effects and this game will look great. Unfortunately, the same can't be said about the character models. I've never seen such a huge disparity between high quality environments and low quality character models. Look at Yoda, look at the entire Jedi Council. It looks like they just grabbed some photos from the visual dictionary and unwrapped them over some low poly PlayStation 1 models. Obi-Wan is the main character and he's got dots for eyes. Qui-Gon looks a bit better from the front, but oh my god, look at the side profile. So yeah, a remaster of this game would definitely need higher quality character models. Maybe do what they did for Final Fantasy VIII. Also, maybe replace this game's Obi-Wan voice with someone like James Arnold Taylor, because for some reason this guy speaks exactly like Ewan McGregor did in Trainspotting.
Never seen a lightsaber before, have you? What's your story? Take that, you ugly cuss!
And that's not even a joke. The end of the game has him do the Choose Life sequence from that movie with a Star Wars twist.
Choose sitting in Jabba's throne room, watching mind-numbing dancers, stuffing green tubers into your mouth.
Actually, you know what? On second thought, leave it in. Because a big part of what makes this game special are all the weird and wonderful quirks. Like running into Newt Gunray when he's supposed to be hiding behind the blast doors.
You look suspiciously like a Jedi.
Or infiltrating the Royal Palace via a giant barbecue smoker with the meat already inside. Or how about Obi-Wan going on this random side quest on Tatooine to save the Queen decoy from the Tusken War Chief.
I have defeated your war chief. Allow me to return to my ship safely with the Queen.
I think all of these little quirks are what makes the old LucasArts games so great. So if they do ever do a remaster, they should definitely touch up the awful character models, fix the controls, but don't take away Obi-Wan's random Wookiee friend on Coruscant.
Hello.
Okay, let's move on to the final game on the list, 2005's Revenge of the Sith for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. And just like Obi Wan, this is another prequel gem that's never even been re-released, which I think is a crime because this game was great. Insane, but great. Revenge of the Sith is a third-person action game that allows the players to relive the epic events of the movie with a particular focus on lightsaber combat and force powers, as the campaign is split between Obi Wan and Anakin. This game borrows a lot from the Return of the King game, which was also great. Like many tie-in games, it's based on an early version of the script and has the developers expand the movie with some original content, which results in amazing moments like Anakin and Obi-Wan in the fuel level, Dooku not being beheaded, the super battle droid that's just looking for a hug, General Grievous the pro wrestler, Anakin stabbing Mace and kicking him off the balcony, then stabbing the librarian, and then taking on thousands of generic Jedi in the temple before traveling to Mustafar and taking on Nute Gunray in his ship. This game is also famous for having a canonical ending and also an alternate dark side ending where Anakin stabs Palpatine. He's very stabby in this game, isn't he? Plus, there's also a versus mode which harkens back to Masters of Teräs Käsi for the PlayStation 1, and this is the only occasion I can think of where Vader can actually use Force Lightning. Unlike the other games on this list, I don't even think that Revenge of the Sith needs a big overhaul kind of remaster. The character models, the janky gameplay, and crazy force powers are what makes this game so memorable. In reality, I just want to wait to play it on my PlayStation 5. Okay, if they were to do some work on it, maybe add a proper co-op mode that allows you to go through the entire campaign instead of these select levels. After all, next year is the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, so what better way to celebrate it than by re-releasing this gem? And so there we have it, 4 prequel games that I think deserve a remaster. Please leave a comment below with your thoughts. Are there any games that I've missed off this list? Is there anything else that you'd add to these remasters? Which original trilogy games would you like to see remastered? And what's your take on the current trend of remasters in general? As always, thanks for watching. Please consider supporting me on Patreon, and a huge thanks to all my existing patrons. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.